I am going. There we go. Just in case I'm not live, I've decided I will record this and then I at least can post it. I cannot even see it on my phone, so I'm very doubtful. Welcome. My name is Susie Jones, slightly bonkers, as you've just worked out, technically challenged today. I have no idea why it's behaving like this because ordinarily it's a simple process. Anyway, bear with me. Where am I at today? The sun is shining. I'm in North Yorkshire, and you found me on a live recording so that I can come and give you an update of where I'm at, just an informal chat. So why don't you grab a cup of tea or whatever it is you like, put your feet up and enjoy this. What I always do at the beginning of any of my sessions is ask to make a connection with people by just putting my hands on my heart and just feeling the energy of love for the world and for everybody who is taking the time to spend time with me. So thank you for being here. What is happening? Gosh, so much. Unbelievable amount of stuff has happened every week, as it does. So one of the things, I have finished my skirt, which I'm delighted by. It's very pretty. I ran out of cotton and elastic, so all I have to do now is just put some elastic in this waistband, and then that will be a nice snug fit and a great little skirt. You saw last week the purple skirt that I had, which is the same materials, and I really was hoping that I could find a neutral fabric that would go with it when I went shopping. I didn't, but I couldn't resist more fabric. I hope you like this. This is batik. And I just think it's a really, really, really pretty little dress. It's much narrower yardage than normally. I bought 3 meters, as I always tend to do, because I can always think of something to do with the extra fabric. But this is, what is it? About 90 centimeters wide. So I think it will do. And if it doesn't, it'll just be a shorter top. But I'm excited about that because it's quite lively and I like a bit of life. And then I went schoolgirl grey. My school uniform was grey and I loved it. I really love grey and black. I like block colours, I think, generally speaking. So this is a really nice piece of poplin, cotton and polyester, quite thin. I don't know if you can see through it. No, you can't. And I just thought a really nice, simple, sort of utility sort of top with some Shashko embroidery. I thought that's going to look really nice. And I thought I'll make it longer so that it covers all the bits and pieces I prefer covered. So yeah, we went shopping and I spent money again on fabric. This is a woman who sold her overlocker a couple of years ago saying, I've done with making clothes. And I think I dream making clothes. It's a very exciting thing for me. I am not a completer finisher when it comes to dressmaking. I'm a bit gung-ho. My mum, everything was beautifully tailored and beautifully organized, but that's just not me. So there's a couple of projects there. Well, finish the skirt and then make a top and probably be a tunic in grey and hopefully a dress in the batik. I do love it. It's beautiful. So the thing is that because I'm really creative, I make a lot of mess. And I always sort of feel I should be committed to not making a mess. And when I sew, that the whole dining room gets destroyed. So anyway, let's see what happens. What else have I been doing? My lovely little frogs, the Dot Pebbles frogs. I made my husband one at his request, and then I made this little one here. I'm going to make this one some clothes because his colorway is a bit boring, really. Sorry, frog. But he is very cute. I like him a lot. And then somebody saw my husband's frog and said, will you make me one? So this is number 3 frog. I do like making them. They're very, very cute. But Dot Pebbles, Claire Garland's knits are superb. I make a lot of her toys. Crochet is different. I can design that myself. But if you are a crocheter, she actually has I think she might be releasing it this week, created this frog in crochet, and that's amigurumi. Amigurumi is basically it's either a single crochet or a double crochet, depending which country you're in. And there's no yarn over for crocheters, and it's tight, and you tend to use a much smaller crochet hook than the fabric or the yarn says you need. And that's what I mostly make. But I've sort of fallen in love with her rabbit. I don't know where the rabbit is. Oh, there it is. I made a whole pile of those, and I bought a load more yarn. I only tend to sell them to friends and family, and really just sort of not more than the cost of the materials, really. So that's where I'm at, still making those. And also I've started to make some flowers and leaves to, I don't know why, to make some little bubbles. I think I showed you that last week. Now, if you're a new knitter, if you're a modern knitter, not an old lady knitter like me, the way that we constructed our knitting was very different than the way you're constructing today. You have, what do they call them? I use them all the time. I can't think what they're called. They're knitting pins, but they're not straight. They've got string through them. I forget what they're called. And so you knitted each piece. Let me show you this wonderful vintage cardigan. This is for a friend of mine, and it is in the most beautiful yarn. It's called Lima, Lima yarn, and I get it from Wool Warehouse. It is soft and beautiful. Most people block their work, and I have to say I don't. I very, very rarely block. The best I will do is hand wash it and then spread it out on a towel, and it seems to work. So with this model, you get 2 sleeves, and my lovely friend's quite tall, so there's quite a lot of knitting going on here, well over 100 hours of knitting in this cardigan, and it's lovely. Then you create the bands separately. And of course, the sort of modern knitters tend to knit top down, which terrified me, and they also do short rows, which I understood, and those didn't terrify me. And then you've got a left and a right front with this fabulous bobble. I absolutely love this pattern. I wasn't sure when I first started it, but it's so beautiful. So there are 2 fronts and a nice back. So it feels divine to work with, and it washes beautifully. I suppose I should get something for saying all this about them, but I do love their yarn, and they are ethically sourced yarns, and the sheep are looked after. I won't go into what they do to sheep in some places where they're not ethical. And this is the band. Now, because it's a vintage pattern, I don't know if you can see the buttons, they're just really plain 2-eye buttons, very, very popular in the day. But my friend would like, and I don't know what they're like, footballs, and they're leather. I think you can get them in non-leather now, but they used to be leather. And I'm sure that anybody with a granddad might remember seeing those beautiful buttons. I've been through my button box and I haven't got one in there at all. Anyway, so I've got a couple of buttons out to see what size. And this one here is a tight fit, and it would stand like that. And then, I don't know, sorry, lighting is always difficult, isn't it? Now, this is a slightly smaller button. You can see it's not massively smaller. And this is a perfect fit. And I think, would you agree, oops, that actually looks probably better, that size. So I'm going to go online and see if I can find some vintage buttons that are brown, dark brown leather, and they're sort of woven. They do look a bit like a football. So it will really sort of add to that vintage feeling. And my friend's quite dapper, so I think he'll be able to carry that off wonderfully. Oh, what else have I been up to? Oh, yes. I talked last week about the Bioptron hyperlight therapy, which my lovely friend had introduced me to. I didn't invest the nearly £2,000 in the brand new version of it. And that is the all singing and dancing version of it. I showed you like a gun. And that has been amazing. I've now been using it a week, and is it a week? Yes, it will be, won't it? I was waiting for the transformer, wasn't I? No, I can't remember. I've been using it for about a week and a bit, maybe, and I feel so much better. It's phenomenal in actual fact. I'm not saying it's all the hyperlight therapy. It could be my mindset, and it could be a whole range of other things as well. But I am feeling back to myself, or very much on that way. And I do really enjoy the half an hour I spend in the morning and evening using the therapy. One of the things I did, you all know I'm a spiritual woman, and I never ram this down anybody's throat. That's, people live the best life they can in the way they want to. But it's of interest to me. And if you don't like it, just ignore me for a moment or two. And I've done a lot of mindset work and spiritual mindset work around my pain and my mobility. And I've always felt really uncomfortable with being a healer and an author of spiritual books, and actually not being in alignment with health. When we're sick, we're out of alignment with health. So the scales, the balance is not there. And that can impact our health and well-being. And it's chicken and egg. What came first? It's not a discussion, really. Excuse me. I don't know why my nose drips when I'm on here talking to myself, but it does. And I don't have a cold. Anyway, yes, so I've lost my train of thought. That's very easy done. So I've always felt that a lack of comfort in being out of alignment with my health and well-being and vitality, and that's about abundance. It's about moving forward, and it's about having the freedom of health. And I just have not felt that way for a long, long time, over 5 years in actual fact. And I've done a lot of work to find what is out of balance. And do you know what? It was the most interesting meditation I had when I realized that I'd lost my power. And a lot of your power is in your solar plexus here. This is the chakra where your power is. And this is herniated due to scar tissue and all sorts of complications during surgery 5 years ago. And I sort of love myself irrespective of these great big lumps on my belly. And I was meditating on power. And what came to me was that I'd lost my masculine energy. So as a human being, we chose to be a female or male when we came because it served our purpose. But within ourselves, we have feminine power and masculine power. And it's not that they are in competition, but they do need to be balanced. If you know the yin and yang symbol, think of it like that, as a form of balance. And it's not about masculinity and it's not about femininity. It's around the fact that when we hold that balance, the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, the pragmatic person who is thoughtful and focused on the mindset stuff, very male oriented, masculine energy, and then the intuition and all of that element of emotion on the female. I am simplifying this ridiculously, so please, you don't need to correct me. I know that I am literally giving you the top line, not all the detail of that. So here I was in the watery elements of my femininity for 5 years, when all the years before I was very balanced in my masculine energy as a manager and as a clinician, but also as a spiritual person. And I always rode the waves with it. But it seemed that the masculine energy, that fire, that purpose, that passion that I had, seemed not to be present in my life. It's back. Okay, where are we now? Day 3. So I can feel the difference. So I've got the Bioptron, and that has really helped. And I've done that mindset work and that spiritual development work. I then went and decided to pull some tarot cards. Now, I don't know if you do the tarot, and my lovely friend Kathy Zablotsky taught me how to read tarot, having been given this set, and it's the only set I have, been given this set by a friend, 20 years ago. The book ended up getting wet, and I used to read that, but sort of never quite aligned with me, although there was nothing wrong with the book. Anyway, so I pulled some cards, and I tend to just say something like, is there anything I need to know right now? Or what do you want to tell me? And I sort of don't put my life on hold for the cards in any way. I just look at the images and say, what is this image telling me? Which part of that image is drawing my attention? And as I just looked then, this was drawing my attention. And this was the way forward out of the dark into the light. That's not what this card is about as such, but intuitively, that is what I was looking at. That's what I saw. I do love lions. My spirit guide is an animal. Sorry, my spirit animal is a lioness. And so I do love lions, but I wasn't attracted to Leo. I was attracted to that. So again, that's the way I read. And when I do readings for people, I use several different cards, very completely different cards, and read them as a whole. But anyway, I just did these cards. This is what came out. Now, this is not in the order that they came. But the top 3 cards are these. Now, if you read tarot, you will have some idea. These are major arcana cards, okay? The Hierophant. Now, this is Chiron, and because I'm a Sagittarian, I always feel very aligned to him. And he's the wise teacher. And in many ways, I, again, align with that energy, and that is masculine energy. Interesting, isn't it? Ordinarily, I pull out cards, and for me, that are like the Empress, not the Emperor. So another male, but a powerful one, holding the world in his hand. And it's like, and also the magic here, the wands, which I love. And it was like, that's interesting. And then, of course, strength. And again, a male. And what do those 3 cards tell you? Now, if you're a tarot reader, then, you'll know, you'll know what you know. But what they told me, and a friend of mine was here, and what they told me was that there's male energy coming in, which was exactly what I had meditated on and found that was the difference. That was my lack of alignment. And so all this male energy was coming into my life. And that's great, because that's where I operate best. The next 3 cards which is again odd. I've never seen this before. Were the Ace, 2, and the 3 of Wands. This told me this is about my fire returning, my fire with purpose. We've got Chiron there as well. And again, the Emperor's here. So there was all this sort of, wow, the fire's coming back, Susie, you know, and that the strength is coming back, the fire, the who you are is coming back. And I was so excited. And then, of course, this is in a sense where I've been for 5 years in the watery level of cups. You know, here I am with a story, with an intention, being rescued by a male and then being supported. And of course, I see that as my beautiful husband and how he is incredibly supportive in my life. And I think he'll be really quite pleased that he won't need to drive me everywhere very soon. So that was a very interesting personal story of transformation. So I would definitely say watch this space, because I know that I've found my fire, and that is my happy place, to be able to warm things and to burn things if necessary. And it's a brilliant way to get rid of stuff for me. Okay. So what else is there to tell you? I hope that you enjoyed Sunday's episode with the very beautiful Lee Campbell. I know cancer is a subject that many do not like to acknowledge or talk about. And certainly, I mean, Lee and I both experienced it, and Lee's just in actual fact, after that recording, she has finished her chemo. And she is just the most inspiring, beautiful woman you could wish to meet. So do pop on and let me know what you think about it, and just send her love and energy. And, you know, I've lost a lot of people to cancer, and I often see it as a gateway to the end of life for my family. And it wasn't a big surprise to me that I got cancer, bearing in mind that from my father's side, it's, you know, his sisters died of cancer, and yeah, there's a lot of cancer goes on in that side of the family. And we do bring stuff through our genetic line. And for both my dad and I, it was anger, unresolved anger, that unfortunately ended his life very young. And yeah, but I do hope you enjoy Lee, because Lee is a vibrant, energetic woman who's telling you how to manage the difficulties of it. On Sunday, we had the joy of my lovely friend, Catherine Mahoney. We've only ever met online, and Catherine's part of my circle of light. And she's also now a part of the Pocket Books Library. And here's the little logo for it, which I'm really excited about. So she brought me the book. And this is so that when I go and talk to people about the Pocketbook Library, I can show them all of the books. It's a beautiful book, and I highly recommend it. And I'm going to start working through it. And when we look, I'm going to move to page 23, because today is the solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. And it talks about nurturing and growth, and it's summer. So the direction for summer is south, and the midday sun. The moon phase is full, and it corresponds to the astral level of the auric field. And the auric field is the element around ourselves and around every living thing on this earth. It's about creativity. It's the elements of fire. So you imagine I'm in my element. It's a life force energy. And you know that when you're in the sun, don't you? You just feel alive in a different way. It's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and I'm the Sagittarius. And it says, fire people approach life with energy and enthusiasm. And Anybody who knows me knows that's true. This week, I met a lovely lady, Angie Romero. I'll put no, I don't actually interfere with this particular one, but I'll make sure that I get the link somehow in here for those who get this on replay. And Angie Romero and I are going to talk about my book, Unveiling the Magic of You. The whole of last year, this book absorbed my life. This book, there are 3 books in this series. The book that that I'm coming to is called Medicine. So book 2 is Medicine. And I've not been able to write it. I've not been able to write because I felt out of alignment with health. And how do you write a book on medicine if you're not in alignment with it? And because I channel, which means that the energy frequency comes through me of who we know as the goddess Isis. She was called Aset. Now, some people say Aset, Auset, Uset. It doesn't matter. We don't speak the language properly. So she's channeling the second book, and it's a very exciting book. It's not like anything that I expected the book called Medicine to be, but it is a thrill. So I'm excited to be interviewed by Angie next week for a series on her podcast, which is a YouTube podcast. Do look her up, Angie Romero, Romero. If you're a spiritual person, then, you know, she interviews some really interesting people, and she's an adorable human as well. Right, where are we at now? Okay, I've been spending money again. What is it like? Again, part of to support my health and well-being and the progress forward, I bought this. Now this, I'm going to press it. You put it on the floor and you choose a mode. That's mode 1. And I can't do this because you need to have your feet on and it will turn itself off. So there's loads of modes on this, and it gives your little feet a nice massage. Now, my husband doesn't think it's nice. He thinks it's torture. But it is. It sends electrical pulses through these lines here on your feet. And this is supposed to support lymphatic drainage. It works a little bit like an aromatherapy massage, not an aromatherapy, a reflexology massage. And it's allegedly, I'm going to turn it off actually, allegedly will also help build muscle as well. It's allowing me to feel my feet, which is really interesting, because when I put my feet on there, I can just barely feel it at all. Whereas when my husband puts his feet on, it's like that. It's like it's had an electric shock. So obviously my feet need a little bit of help, and it is helping. So I just sit while I'm knitting or something and just spend 20 minutes with this every day. You see, the thing is, when we're not well or we're not functioning, we have to look at why. And we have to look at solutions, because there's no point moaning about it. You know, there's going to be a solution out there. So yeah, have a look and see what modalities will work for you. I think that I have jabbered quite a lot. So before I go, I want to tell you about the episode on Sunday. Now, this comes in at midnight on London time, so that will be around, it'll be 11 hours behind. Yeah, so New Zealand will pick it up 11 hours in front. So I can't even tell you when that is. It'll come late morning, I think, for you. And different parts of America, you'll get it in the morning. Okay, so I've interviewed Manny Pureheart, who I love. Manny is the most magnificent wizard that I know, and he's got the full Santa Claus outfit on, the beard and this gorgeous rosy face, and just such a divine human, amazing human. And he's an author. And so it's actually a book club. It is a sofa chat, but mostly around books. So we're going to call it the book club this time. And I do hope that you enjoy him. He is right, because of his books aren't on Amazon. If anybody wants to buy a book, then you need to let me know. He will send a whole pile over to England with one postage, which will reduce the cost. And then I'll be able to post it on to you directly. So we will work out the cost of this once we close it, the shop, if you like. And there will be signed copies if you ask for it as well. He really is magnificent. And again, if you're on Facebook, look him up. I think he's under Robert Ward, but we call him Manny Pureheart, and that is exactly what he is. And it's interesting because Manipura is your solar plexus chakra. And so I think of him exactly like that, like the solar plexus of the earth. He is just magnificent. So I hope you join us and have some fun. He's just perfect, completely perfect. Okay. Is there anything else to talk about? I think that's probably it for now. Yeah. Let's just do that thing we did at the beginning, shall we? Just put our hands on our heart for a moment and take a breath. If you can breathe through your nose, even better. And just look around your room. Notice 3 things that bring you joy. And behind me, just here, we've got some little mice that our daughter bought us for Christmas, actually. A beautiful vase here that was made by our artist friend, Ailsa. And I'm going to say this, my microphone brings me a lot of joy because it improves the quality of the recording. And so when you fill yourself with joy like that, because you're thinking, what do I love? And then you think about loving things, it changes the vibration in your body, you see. Do you know that? Yeah. So you can tap here on your sternum. Okay, there's a sore spot there. And if you can catch that sore spot, you can just bring love into it. And you can breathe into it. And you can calm yourself. And you can heal yourself. Thank you so much for being here. Unsure whether it's live, but I will pop it in if it isn't. Thank you for hanging out with me and have a wonderful, wonderful day.